Hello! So today's going to be a little bit of an exciting video. As we can see here, right off rip, it's an encounter, and I wonder what the encounter is. Oh shit! It's a KAYN game! I've played KAYN, I think I've played KAYN 3 times. One of them I went 4th, one of them I went 5th, and then another one I went... The last one's this one. But the other two videos, like the VOD got broken. Sometimes my VOD just doesn't work. So I lose a lot of like footage of like interesting games sometimes. But now we have a KAYN game. So I can finally talk about this encounter, which should be a little bit fun. So oops, sorry, I just need to do this to reset my inking. There we go. Let me move it out of the way. So basically the KAYN encounter, what it does is that the game basically ends after a certain amount of time. Here it says that the game's going to end at 5-4. Now 5-4 isn't the earliest, but it's not the latest, right? Stage 5 is usually where a lot of players lose their HP. A lot of times you don't live until stage 6 anyways. Most of the game is decided like top 4 in stage 5 anyways. So you can consider this more along the lines of like a normal game of TFT. The KAYN encounter isn't that massive, but still ending the game early always influences the strategy a little bit, right? I'll talk a lot about that as I go on through the video, basically, right? But the main thing that you usually want to play with KAYN is you just want to be strong early. You want to play your strongest board a lot of the time. You want to make sure that you're extremely strong, and you want to play boards that have really good openers. I'll discuss that in a second, because first we're just going to talk about the augment choices, and then after I talk about the augment choices, while the gameplay is kind of going through the retro loop, I'll go through some like concepts. And I look at Exalted just to see. It's the 1-star Exalted. I don't feel like playing around that. I feel like the 1-star Exalted actually averages pretty low, because you're playing a lot of 1-star trash on your board that doesn't really synergize well with each other. I don't know if there's like a proper board for it yet. Anyways, we look at these. There's Invoker Crest, Escort Quest, Heroic Grab Bag. So here I think I'm gonna roll Export Crest, and I'm deciding if I take Haunted House or not. I'll talk about it in a little bit, but I think I end up taking Haunted House here. Right, so the first thing I'm looking at is I'm going around, I'm looking, okay, who is right, I look around, I'm like, nobody's playing Ghostly, right? So there's a lot of boards that are very strong early game, right? Typically one of the best early game boards is Ink Shadow, right? I'll put strong, right? With KAYN, because the game ends, your HP matters in terms of where your placement is, right? So at stage 5-4, you just need to be top 4 HP, right? You don't have to have a board that beats everybody else's board, right? An example is like Fortune, right? Fortune is really hard to play in a KAYN encounter because you're inherently throwing away a lot of health, and then you're hoping that you have enough time to chew through your opponent's health to make sure you land in a top 4, right? You can have like the largest Fortune cash out, right? You could be 1 HP with like the strongest board in the lobby with Fortune. I'm just using the extreme example, right? Like there's a guy who took Fortune Crest. This guy, he's not gonna get top 4, I don't think, right? Because the thing is, even if you have it doesn't matter how strong your board is at the end of the game. It matters how strong your board is throughout the game, right? So Ink Shadow's really strong, Ghostly is really strong, and Faded is really strong. These are like 3 of the strongest early game boards ever. The reason Ghostly is really strong is because having like the reason Ink Shadow is really strong is because you gain an extra item, so you're just up an item on everybody. Ghostly is really strong because you have good front line that then translates to damage, so you typically kill a lot of units and save HP. And then Faded is really strong because you get a bunch of defensive resources that you can transition into 5 Faded, that you can basically like win streak with it really easily, right? These are all traits that give you a lot of stats that are very usable in early game, that also make you like demons, right? Like especially with like something like Faded and Ink Shadow, just being up a whole item or having like a bunch of like armor and shielding on your units definitely makes you stronger than the rest of the lobby, right? And that's what we really care about here. We just want to be strong until later. Now I'll talk about my augment choice. There were 2 options for my augment choice. I had Heroic and I had Haunted, right? These were the 2, right? The augment choice, like there's some like there was Escort Quest, there was the other thing, right? So I'll put Haunted and I'll put Heroic, right? Heroic grab bag is really, really good in KAYN encounter because basically you don't use it to reroll. You just use the duplicators to have an early board where you're very strong, right? The idea is that you use your duplicators on like a 3-cost unit or a 2-cost unit, and that streaks you all of stage 2 and all of stage 3. You basically have like a giga strong board, right? And that gives you a lot of HP as well as a lot of money that you can then decide what to do with it. I took Haunted House. The reason I took Haunted House is because I already have an Aatrox, and I was playing, I had a good opener for Ghostly / Ink Shadow because I already had like a Senna, I had an Aatrox, I had a KAYN, right? So I felt like I can lean into this even if I lose a little bit of HP now. Ghostly is really strong because Ghostly will always guarantee that you kill a lot of units, right? The main thing that I want to talk about, I'll talk about it a lot later, is that Ghostly is very risky because it doesn't like win the lobby. It's hard to win the lobby with Ghostly unless you like hit everything, right? So for me, it's like I said to myself, I'm Aatrox paired, so stage 3 I can roll for Aatrox. Even though Aatrox maybe isn't the greatest unit, it's like I can roll for Aatrox because the augment itself gives me an Aatrox. It's some sort of combat, so it helps me with that. And then here on Carousel I have the option of Shen or Aatrox. I take Shen because Shen is a little bit more tanky than Aatrox, right? Also, the augment also gave me a Shen, so it put me in a really good spot. I'm looking around, there's a lot of other people that are also trying to play Ghostly. Usually if you don't reroll Ghostly and hit like everything like upgraded, you run into a lot of problems, I find. Typically the problem is I should level here probably, yeah. Just level. I could sell the Aatrox for money, that's fine. Or I can like sell the KAYN. I should probably replace the KAYN then sell the Aatrox because the KAYN doesn't really matter. So if you see there's a KAYN in my shop, I can sell this one and buy this one and then I'll earn the 2 gold, right? So I just downgrade the KAYN because I upgraded the Senna anyway, so it's fine. But anyways, I've made lots of videos with Ghostly. One of the lines that used to exist is Tempo Ghostly, where you just like use it to go like fast 8 or whatever. But even like just rolling 3-star Ghostly, a lot of times it's really hard to outcap like a list board and all of those boards. The thing you have to understand is that this is KAYN encounter. It ends 5-4, right? Ghostly, look at this fight, right? I might not win it, but like it's already showing signs. I almost won this, right? And this guy has a faded opener, which is like the strongest in the game, right? I'm not particularly win streak or lose streaking, but I have a lot of health, right? I just need like maybe 1 or 2 more upgrades and I'll be stable, right? The idea with Ghostly is that the game ends at 5-4, right? I don't need to be the strongest in the lobby, right? Think about it, right? Do I need to be the strongest in the lobby? No, I just have to have the most health by 5-4. That's what the KAYN encounter means. And that's what you have to think when you're playing around these encounters that alter the game in certain ways. Like the thing with like a Lily encounter where you don't get augments for a really long time. It's like when you're trying to play your strongest board, what you really want to do here is you just want to preserve your HP as much as possible, right? Ghostly doesn't win lobbies, but it's very strong in stage 3, right? Once you have like a full set of upgrades, right, and some tank items, like if I had a tank item on this Shen, right, if I have Aatrox to allow me, like I have 4 Ghostly in, right, it's very stable. Right, for most of stage 3, you're usually either winning every fight or you're killing a lot of units every fight, which means that you're not going to lose a lot of HP, right? So your HP is going to be to the moon. You're going to have a lot of HP in the lobby, right? The other thing that Ink Shadow and I'm talking about them both because I'm using Ink Shadow with Ghostly. That's the line that I'm playing with the Senna. The other thing that you have to work with, right, is that you have the option of reroll. If you're contested, you also have the option to tempo it. And the fact that you're always killing units gives you that flexibility, right? So if I'm stable on stage 3, then stage 4, I can either roll for a 3-star, right, if I natural a bunch of copies, or I can tempo it into level 8, and I can play around finding a KAYN or a Morgana, or even like a Silas, like any 4-cost that can kind of slot in with some synergies to stabilize me on stage 4. So once again, what's going to happen is stage 4, I might not be the strongest board, right? There might be some Heavenly Yasuo, sorry, what's his name? Heavenly KAYN player. There might be some, like, crazy fucking board, right? Some high roller, right? Look at these guys, they're 100 streaking and they didn't fight each other, right? Like, there could be some crazy shit that I run into, right? The thing is that I'll be stable because my units will usually kill a bunch of units, right? As long as I have some tankiness, I'll have good resources, and I'll be level 8, so I can always slot in even a 5 cost or a 4 cost, right? So those are the 2 lines you can play. Are these game-winning lines? Not anymore because they nerf Ghostly a lot, right? I'll be real with you. Tempo Ghostly used to be a thing, but now, like, reroll Ghostly is the most important thing. A lot of times people look at KAYN encounter, and I think this is the problem with my lobby right now, is people see the KAYN encounter, and a lot of them are thinking, like, you know, reroll, right? Because they're thinking, I need to be strong early rather than later. The best way to be strong early is just to send all your gold and to hit a reroll comp. The problem is, if you're not in a good spot for the reroll, like you don't natural a bunch of the units, you'll just spend all your gold, hit nothing, and then just bleed out. You'll just die anyways, right? And that's like a really important thing to make note of. Even if it's a KAYN encounter, you can't force a reroll if you don't have the spot for it. So now it's augment choice again, right? With augment choice, what am I thinking of? What makes me the strongest right now? I don't care about what scales me late game. I don't care what's the best thing in the stats. What makes me strong right now? Sleight of hand gives attack speed and HP to a unit, and it gives a frontline item. Sign me up. That shit's lit. That definitely makes me strong right now. What does Ghostly want? Ghostly wants tanky stats and attack speed. I just took an augment that gives me a free Thieves Glove, so I'm up 2 more items. I'm playing Ink Shadow. I'm up 2 items, and I have a fucking Thieves Gloves. Like, I'm up an item from Ink Shadow. I'm up 2 items because of Thieves Gloves, and I gain HP and attack speed. Shit's lit. Look at this guy. He's trying to play Dryad reroll. Does he have a good Dryad spot? No. He's 20 gold. He has 1 Gnar, 1 Kindred. This guy's going 8th. Right? You don't just force a reroll line. But look at what he's doing though. He's holding Shens and he's holding Aatroxes. I don't understand why Dryad players do this. I play Dryad a lot, and I'm very comfortable with the line, right? I usually get a top 4 if I have a good Dryad spot. I'm telling you now, if you're playing Dryad reroll, fuck the Shen, fuck the Aatrox. Okay, what's more important is hitting the fucking Gnar and hitting the other dude. It's such a waste of money to go for Shen 3, Aatrox 3 when you're playing Dryads, because your max cap is that you're going to play Ornn anyways, right? If your Gnar cannot 1v9, it's because you didn't earn enough Dryad stacks early, because you're spending all your time and all your gold trying to upgrade these other shitter units that do nothing on your board, right? What the fuck is 2 Ghostly gonna do for half the game? Nothing. You're not gonna be 3 Ghostly until like level 8, and you're not gonna hit level 8 if you're upgrading Shen and Aatrox, because you won't have enough gold to hit level 8 and on high roll and hit everybody else. Anyways, I digress. This guy also has a Shen 2 and an Alawi. So I'm gonna tell you now, I wanted to go Ghostly reroll and just secure a top 4. It's not looking like I can go Ghostly reroll, right? But look what I was saying. Look at this guy. He has a bunch of upgrades. He has a bunch of shit. He has Raining Gold Epoch. He's level 7. He's level 730 gold. Look how far ahead he is than me, right? Does it matter? No, because Ghostly's strong early. I just fucking stack Ghostly on this dumbass and I just fucking win, right? That's like the glory of like that, like especially with like a KAYN encounter. You want to play towards some of these lines. That's what I was trying to explain, right? You want to hit lines that make you strong early, right? I don't care what happens, right? I want to be really high HP stage 3, right? Hopefully I win streak stage 3. Then I can tempo level to 8 or 7 or 8, right? I can tempo level even if I don't hit the Ghostly units. I can play 6 Ghostly, right? It won't be enough to win the lobby, but stage 4 I'll probably also preserve a lot of HP and I'll still be in the top 4 to HP. And then I only have to worry about like 3 rounds in round 5, right? I have to worry that I don't lose too much HP to go bot 4 in round 5, right? That's my game plan. Anyways, I find an Alawi. So now I spiked even harder. I'm 4 Ghostly, 3 Ink Shadow, 2 Sniper, 2 Warden. We're set. And then on Carousel, I also got into the Thieves Gloves. So now I have the extra Thieves Gloves is a little bit high roll, but look at this shit. I'm waiting till it comes back to my screen. Look at this shit. They both have they both fucking. Look at this shit. They both have extra attack speed and extra HP now. Look how many items I'm up. I have Ink Shadow item, Thieves Gloves, right? it kind of worked out. But that's why you take augments like this, right? Like these goes augment. It doesn't matter if like I think what was my other option? I had like a couple other options, but you shouldn't be taking stuff like this guy's really strong because he's like faded and he took a faded crest. He's trying to play towards 7 faded. But look at this shit. I still beat his ass, right? Because like that's the thing. I'm playing around being strong stage 3, right? That's the important thing. I'm playing around being strong stage 3, right? I'm 88 HP. There's people that are 40 HP and 60 HP, right? Like they're shooting the moon. Like yes, the lobby here is very close in HP. I'm 88, but like look, I went to top HP. Why? Because I didn't lose a single fight in stage 3. Right? And that's what's really important, right? You want to set yourself up for late game, but you want to pick a line that you feel reliably safe on stage 3, right? I don't know why this guy's playing Fortune, right? He's playing Fortune in a lobby where HP matters, right? The Fortune guy is definitely going to be the strongest in the lobby. If he cashes out, he's going to be stronger than all of us, right? But like, you know. And then, like, also the Yasuo thing is kind of BM because the Yasuo kind of helps me a lot more than the other players. I kind of high rolled this encounter. But yeah, like, look at this Fortune guy. Like, I think he has 5 Fortune in. No, he has 3 Fortune. He's actually has a pretty strong board considering. But he cashed out early, right? So he cashed out once already. And then he's holding KAYN and Morgana, which makes me sad. So I don't know what he was doing. I think he might have got griefed. Like, maybe he made his board too strong, so he cashed out early. But he's level 750, so he's actually transitioning off of it. But the problem is, he's just so low HP, right? Like, I have to take, like, 4 or 5 bad losses before this guy even catches up to my placement. You know what I mean? Like, there's such a huge separation between 1st and 8th in this game. But yeah, look, I won all of stage 3. Now, here's the big question, right? I'm level 6, 68 gold. I can roll for 3 stars, but as you can see, I didn't natural any copies, right? This is a really important thing. And then look, this guy's just holding a bunch of ghostly units. He's playing like fucking Exalted, some random shit. I don't know what these people are doing, but I am never hitting Shen 3. I might hit Senna 3. I might, right? Because nobody's really playing towards Senna, but a lot of people are holding Shens. Like there's 3 people I think in the lobby with a Shen 2. So Shen can't be my main tank. I hit KAYN, so I say to myself, yeah, fuck it, I'm just leveling, right? So I level to 7 this turn because it's free, right? I'm still above 50 gold. And next turn I'll probably send it to 8. I roll once for upgrades here. The reason I'm rolling for upgrades is because I'm Alawi paired, right? So I roll a little bit. I roll once or twice because I'm Alawi paired. Alawi is really good odds on 7. I just want to be as strong as possible, right? Alawi's my Thieves Gloves holder. So I just want to upgrade the Alawi. That's why I rolled once or twice. But I didn't break Econ, right? I'm not like digging for an Alawi because I still want to go level 8. Right? I don't know if I'll go level 8 next turn or if I'll just build Econ. It kind of depends on how many fights I win. But as you can see, my board, this guy didn't really hit hard, right? Ghostly punishes these boards on stage 4, right? Stage 4, right? 4-1. It's like, there's like, you know, hit / miss, right? What I'm doing is, if someone hits, right, then they are strong as fuck, right? If they miss, I punish, right? When you have strong boards like this, like Ghostly really preys upon the fact that if you miss your things, like even if you hit your 4 cost, if you don't get upgrades to your units, Ghostly will eventually win, right? Ghostly is a stall tactic board. I thought it was really cool, and then it got overplayed a bunch because it was broken. But I used to really like Ghostly, right? I tried out Ghostly back in PBE. It was one of my favorite comps to like try out. Anyways, I take Epitaph because I just want a combat augment now. And Epitaph is one of the best combat augments. It gives me attack speed. And it gives me shielding. Why is that good? Well, let me tell you something. What does Ghostly want? Ghostly wants attack speed and it wants relative HP. So everything synergizes really well. All my augments make my frontline tanky and give me attack speed. And the first one just gave me the Ghostly thing. Now, this is not a line you normally see, right? I definitely high rolled into a Morgana. There was another guy holding Morgana, so let's not, like, get exuberantly, like, you know, flustered about that part. There's a couple parts of this game that are high roll, but the high roll is what makes me in a position of playing for first, rather than playing for, like, an 8th or something. This guy's playing, like, KAYN. He missed the Kayns. I found 2. Like, that's what I mean. That was high roll versus not high roll. But the thing is, Ghostly is like a stall game, right? What you do with Ghostly is exactly this. You see how this guy had like a blue circle around him because he had so many blue orbs? The way Ghostly works is when you attack units or when your units attack other units, every time that happens 7 times, 2 little specters drop on your opponent, right? Anyways, I high roll a KAYN too, by the way. Look, that's me zooming in, being like, what the fuck? I'll talk about the high rolls later, but regardless, what Ghostly does is they have these blue specters that surround them, and then they take bonus damage from those blue specters, right? So the more specters you have on you, the more damage you will take, right? Now this guy obviously didn't hit this Gnar player because like he didn't have any fucking Gnars and he's sending it for Gnar reroll. That's what I'm saying. You'd never play against these things. And then look, he's trying to grief me. He's holding a Senna. Why is he holding a Senna? He's holding Shen. He's holding Sennas. This guy can go fuck himself. He's going 8th. Like, he's trying to grief 1st place. I don't understand these people sometimes. Anyways, that's a separate note. You know why I'm tilted? Because I've been in this situation so many times. I lost so much LP from like people forcing lines and not understanding their win cons, right? But I get it. Maybe just holding it because it's a unit. He might not actually be griefing me. I'm kind of taking my anchor out on this poor guy because of another game that played. So I digress. Don't worry about it. But anyways, this line is not very strong a lot of the times. Now I did kind of high roll because I won most of stage 3 because everybody was very weak, right? But typically what happens is in stage 5, I don't win a single fight with this board, right? If you look at me now, I'm 0 gold. I'm not going 9. I'm not hitting anything, right? So I have to kind of sack stage 4. Stage 4, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. My lobby, the people that I'm playing so far are all really weak because they missed. Because I think they got flustered from the KAYN encounter just trying to force something instead of like playing around like a theme, which is really important in TFT as well as in these lobbies that they punish you for HP, right? You have to be really good at playing tempo if you're in a KAYN lobby. But anyways, what I mean to say is that yeah, so here I'm just gonna slam items because fuck it. Even though I have shred already, it's like I'm just making, you know, even shroud KAYN, fuck it, let him go nuts, right? I don't care. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is this type of board, this tempo Ghostly, doesn't really work anymore because as you can see, I've kind of spent all my gold. I'm not going to be able to go level 9 anytime soon, and starting stage 5 is when everybody's going to have really strong boards and I'm going to lose HP fast, right? Like I might get 20 0'd, right? Because my front line won't sustain it, right? Like right now my front line is an Alawi to a Shen 2, right? That's worth shit, right? Because when somebody actually has like real damage online, I'm gonna get absolutely destroyed. This guy took balanced budget. Like he had the right idea with the heroic grab bag, but like you can't force a reroll line, right? Like look at me. I saw that I couldn't play Senna Shen. I didn't force the reroll line. I tempoed it. This guy definitely should have tempoed, right? Like he should have enough gold to go 8. He should tempo, try and play around like faded tempo as well, right? But that's like a thing. Anyways, Kha'Zix appears. So that kind of sucks for me because now a lot of people that were greeting are going to outcap me pretty easily. But either way, I can actually go 9 now if I just preserve some HP, right? The main thing that I'm trying to point out is that I would lose with this board stage 5. The game ends 5-4. So I only have to live 3 rounds and I can't lose like, what is it, 40 HP in 3 rounds? That's really hard to do, right? Typically, if you take like a bad loss, you're losing like 15-ish. So it's still close, right? I might still bot for this, but it's very unlikely, right? Because I played around the early game really easily, right? This HP is a resource, right? And I did not trade HP. Like there's some people, like I think this guy was the fortune player, right? I didn't trade HP for shit, right? Oh no, it was this guy that playing fortune, right? Like I'm not trading HP to make a relatively strong board. Anyways, I think this guy at RNG beat him. His board looks really fucking strong. But look at what happens with Ghostly, right? All you need with Ghostly is this to happen, and then you win the game, right? If this didn't happen, I probably lose the fight. But what happens is like the Ghostly units, they travel to a random unit. But at one point, once you kill enough units, the Ghostly's orbs all gather on the same unit, and once they consolidate on the same unit, that unit just gets killed by like random autos, right? It doesn't even matter who's doing the damage. Like even the front line, they just chunk them away and they just die instantly. And then because all of the orbs are together, they move as a pack, right? So when one unit has like all the orbs on them and then they die, those orbs travel to the next unit, and then that unit now will die really fast, and then you just like pick them off one by one, right? That's the strength of Ghostly. But like I said, it doesn't work well late game, because late game the tanks are large enough that you can't shoot through them fast enough before your units start dying, right? That's why you really want to have Shen 3. You want to have all of these 3-star, right? Because what ends up happening is late game, also because of Kha'Zix. I hate Kha'Zix. They're removing it from the game, thank God. But I went fast 9 right now, and I just threw in an Ornn to give behemoths for some extra tank stats on my Shen, right? But as you can see, a lot of these boards, they're way stronger than me. This stage, I easily lose every fight, but the game's fucking over in 3 rounds. So who cares? Let me lose 3 rounds. Go ahead. Anyways, I fight this guy. It's kind of sad because I think I beat this guy as well. He's like the one guy that low rolls. This was really high RNG matchmaking for me, because I'm pretty sure there's like 3 other guys that just absolutely beat the shit out of me. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that because your front line isn't good enough, your Shen dies, your Aatrox dies, your Alawi dies, and then you're not getting enough Ghostly stacks to make the Ghostly worthwhile. So in stage 5, you usually lose most of your HP, right? If this was a normal lobby and it wasn't KAYN encounter, I have a very high chance of going like 4th or even 5th here, even in this spot, right? Because that's just the way Ghostly kind of works. But I played towards this line because I knew the game was ending earlier than later. So I said by the time the game ends, I'll probably be fine, because there won't be enough time left in the game for me to bleed out to like a 4th, right? Like this guy easily beats me all the time. I think this guy easily beats me all the time. This guy probably, and I think this guy might be the strongest in the lobby, right? There's one guy that's like level 9 already. No, it's not this guy. I think it's this guy. No, I think it's this guy. It's one of these 2 guys. Is like way stronger than me. These guys just don't have enough HP, so they're probably just gonna die anyways. But sometimes they can just win out as well. Yeah, like this guy missed, right? Is this the guy that was... No, this wasn't the guy that was rolling. There were 2 people contesting Faded. So this guy just leveled and he's playing Ashe Faded. Like his items aren't good is the problem. And he just missed too hard, right? Like his front line's too shit, because the other guy was rerolling Faded. So I just kind of wipe him out. Now it's like guaranteed. Look at this shit. How do I lose? Also, there's one thing that I feel really sad about, and I'll talk about it right now. Oh, I forgot to mention the sub goal. We're only 10 away from the sub goal. Once we get our sub goal, I'll probably make a YouTube post about it, and I'll talk about it in the videos. It won't be like a one-time thing. I'll probably wait like a week for everybody to get their entries in. But we will give away RP. Okay, so what I wanted to do, I forgot, does the round end on this turn, or does it end, like, does this count as a combat round? What I wanted to do was I wanted to sell my whole board, because if you look at my HP, I am so high above 2nd place that I can get a 1st with having no units. So then on the win screen, it shows no units, and it's like really cool. Anyways, look at this guy. He's 8 HP and he hit a Felios 3. Is he winning out? No. It's like, that's why you don't go for these reroll lines. It's like, you can't take that risk. You have to play tempo. Just always play your strongest board. Only go to reroll if you have a bunch of copies of them. Because that guy with the Felios 3, he might win out, but it's like not going to happen now. Anyways, this guy's just so much stronger than me. This is what I mean, right? When, as you can see, the Ghostly stacks, even though I have them on units, right? Oh, wait, I won anyways. Okay, I was going to say, usually you lose these, but I was fighting Clone, right? That's the only reason I won. As you can see, it's pretty close, but I fought Clone. So I just RNG'd that one. But yeah, I thought this was the last. I thought next round was a combat round, because I haven't played KAYN encounter that much, so I forgot. But yeah, the game ends now, so I didn't get to sell my board, which is really sad. Anyway, we can watch the KAYN do his KAYN thing. Wow. How cute little dog is. And it's a 1st, yeah. So what's the takeaways from this, right? It's not necessarily, it's always just thinking about your strongest board. You always have to think of augments of what makes me strongest now, right? You have to think about what synergizes well with my comp, right? Not only strong augments, but strong things that synergize well with your comp, right? This game, when you're playing KAYN, you can't rely on strategy like I'm gonna make it to 9, I'm gonna fast 9, I'm gonna play around these legendaries, right? A lot of times when you're playing around those type of boards, you have to inherently sack many rounds to build up their econ, right? So what you want to do is, like, if you have a spot for a reroll, go for a reroll. If not, angle yourself towards a strong line. And if you have neither of those positions, then you're kind of fucked. But that's like the RNG of the game. You're probably you have to hit something, right? So whatever unit pairs you hit, you have to go for upgrades on stage 6. You have to roll for upgrades later. You have to tempo. You have to identify, right? Here, like, I'm uncontested Ghostly, but the whole lobby's holding Shens. What do? I play tempo Ghostly. Is tempo Ghostly good? Ask anybody. Ask any player in the world if tempo Ghostly is a good comp anymore, and they will tell you it's not a good comp. Almost nobody plays this line anymore because of the reasons I said, that you just fucking die out and you get a 5th anyways, right? It's just way better to use your gold for something else a lot of the time, right? Or you just commit to the reroll, right? You don't really play Ghost unless you can hit a 3-star, right? But that's just the way this patch is, right? And that's fine. That's totally understandable. The thing is, it's like, I don't care if I lose out in stage 5 and 6 because there is no stage 6 anyways, and there is no stage 5. Now, I went first. I'm not trying to say this is how you go first in KAYN encounter. The reason I went first is because I high rolled, right? I got 2 Thieves Gloves. I hit the KAYN and the Morgana ahead of tempo, and my items in general are very good, right? So that's the you can't, unless if you're playing on even playing field with a bunch of people that are like your skill level, it's hard to go first unless you high roll something, right? But if I didn't get 2 Thieves Gloves, do I go second? Yeah, maybe. Do I go third? Yeah, maybe. Do I go fourth? Yeah, maybe. Am I going 5th, 6th, or 8th? Probably not, because my board was still fairly strong for what it was, right? And that's like the important thing to note. Anyways, if you're not familiar with like playing tempo or playing around these type of situations, hopefully this was a nice guide, and hopefully it was a little bit entertaining. I'm trying to do this in a rush way. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast. It's just because I have to go out later today. So yeah, if you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Our RP giveaway is in 10 subs. I will post many details about it once we hit the sub goal, and I will talk about it in the YouTube videos. So if you're a daily viewer of content, don't worry, you won't be out of the loop. If you're just stopping by for once in a while, you know, try and keep your eyes peeled. See ya.